You know, for some time I've been wondering, how do people make their websites toggle between light and dark mode, until one day it clicked into me, and I realized that it's not hard at all. So in this tutorial I am going to remove all the mystery you might have, especially if you are a beginner. It is really easy, and I'm going to show you how. But first, let me demonstrate what we're going to create. So dark mode, light mode, dark mode, light mode, dark mode, light mode. So this website, let's just call it website so that we are not ashamed of ourselves, but it's really just a demonstration. It's just the header here, the navigation bar, and then the body, which is my favorite quote, this one. Okay, and so on the left here of the navigation we have the menu. Yes, and then so on the left here of the navigation we have the menu, we have the about and the contact, and then on the right we have the label here, change mode, and also this fancy looking button here. So this is all made of HTML and CSS and some very little JavaScript. I actually wanted to make this using just HTML and CSS, but to make our work a little bit easier and also to not make this video too long, I added some very little JavaScript. So without further ado, we are going to get started. I'm going to open my Visual Studio Code and then close what I did here. So I'm going to create this one as a new project file, open folder, create my folder here. Let me call it toggler. Not the best naming out there, and then I open it. I'm going to create two files in here. I'm going to create index.html as well as style.css. Inside the index.html I'm going to create our boilerplate. I'm going to use emit to make our work easier, the exclamation sign, and enter. Now we have everything. Let me change the title to mode toggler, and let's link our style sheet here, style.css. Inside the body, let's add our HTML. So the way we are going to add our HTML is we will have the header, this part here, which is the navigation, and the toggle button as well as its label, and then we'll have the content part, which will have the quote. Now the header dot, I'm going to give it a class of header, and then inside the header we have the nav. I'm going to give the class of nav, and then below the nav, which is this part here, we are going to have a div. I'm going to give it a class of it's got toggler. Let me call it toggle. And then inside the nav we will have a UL and we're going to give it a class of nav menu. I'm going to use emit trick here to add the children of the nav menu. So we're going to have li with the class of nav item with a child of a link called nav link, and then we'll multiply this by 3. Okay, our href, just put a hash there, press tab. You want this first one to be modder, then tab, hash, and then the next one should be about, tab, hash, tab. The last link is a contact, and then we are done, except on the modder here. I want to add nav item. The first nav item should also be logo. We want to make it look different from the other two. Now the toggle part. So first let's have a span. And call it toggle label. Say change mode, and then below that let's have a button. And then toggle button as its class, and then inside our button I'm going to put a non-breaking space nbpsp, and there is nothing written inside the button. So I think we are done with our HTML part, the header part. We are done with the header part of our HTML. Now let's go to the content. So we are going to have a section with the class of content. Okay, then inside content we have a paragraph with the class of content text, and then we're going to go to the content text and copy this text. Okay, and then we paste it in here, and we have a strong tag in here, and we say Khalil Gibran. We are done with our HTML. Now let's go to our CSS. Before that, of course, let's open it to our live server. Let me push it up a little bit, make it a little smaller so that we can see. Right, down again. Okay, now let's open with live server. Boom, here we have it. Here we have it with our CSS. Let's go to our CSS, make this one smaller again and widen it a little bit. All right, body. Okay, I think for it to be clear, I'm not going to add anything in the body so that you see the visual changes of adding stuff. Now let's start with the header. I'm going to give it a background of 333. Okay, there it is. So you see there's some space here, right? This space is caused by the margin on the body. Let's remove the margin on the body and make it 0. You see it's closed. And then this space at the top here is caused by the text here, because the text has margin top and margin bottom, so this space will be closed soon as we add more styles. Now let's go to the header. Should also have display flags. The reason why we're doing that is we want this part here to be on the right, and this part here to be on the left, and then this part here on the right. So we're going to use the flags. So this color here is just so that we can have some visuals, but we're going to change everything later on. Now let's display flags. Okay, now after displaying flags, you see the space here is gone, the margin there collapsed. Now let's say justify content space between. We are talking about the space between this one and this, between this one and this one. So we've put the space between, but now it's squished. Now it's squished to the edges here. So what should we do? Let's put padding. I think 20 pixels. 20 pixels would make sense. Yeah, now we can have some breathing room. Now for this to be on one line, this here is the UL code nav menu. We want to display it flex again. Nav menu, display flex. Okay, then I think here we want to make both top and bottom, let's make it 15 pixels, and then left and right 20 pixels. Now let's remove the bullets list style, none. Okay, inside the body also want the font family to be sans serif. Let's deal with this part here, the menu and the logo. So let's go to the nav item. So margin right 60 pixels, and I think we have the logo should have a different font size. Logo font size 18 pixels, maybe 20 pixels. Now these things are not aligning, but we're going to deal with that later. So we have nav link, color FFF, text decoration none. Now we want these guys here to align, so we are going to go to the nav menu and say align items center. You see, now it's aligned. Logo, we want to make its font weight to be bold. Font weight bold. Now it looks like a real logo. We're going to style this side here. So we have the toggle, I think it's called toggle, right? We have to display it as flex. Did it work? Yes, it did. And we say so it's stretching because of the align items. The default is stretch, but now we don't want it to stretch, so we want it to center align, and you see everything is aligning from the beginning until the end. Now let's the color of this should also be FFF, and then the toggle button, we need to give it a height 25 pixels and then a width 50 pixels, border radius 30 pixels to make it rounded, and then with the border 2 pixels solid FFF. Right, remove the default border and add our own. Then we want to give it a margin on the left, margin left. Let's put 30 pixels and see what happens. Yeah, maybe 20 pixels, and maybe I think the toggle label can use a smaller font size. Font size maybe 13 pixels. Yeah, that makes sense. And margin left, we can decrease it to 18 pixels or even 15. Let's do toggle button before content, nothing. Width, we want to make it 23 pixels. Height 23 pixels. Background, want to make it black 333. And what else? We want to make our button here to position relative, so that we can absolutely position our toggle button before. Position absolute. Now there it is. Border radius 50% to make it a circle. And now let's say top minus 2 pixels. Right, so you have to play with these numbers. 1 minus 1 pixel. Yeah, that worked. Left minus 1 pixel. Yeah, that looks good to me. Let's change our cursor to pointer. Let's change the color for our body also. Ground color, I mean. 2333. Okay. And then color to FFF. Right. And then on our header, we want to give it a border bottom of FFF again. This part here, so that it's not just one thing. Border bottom 2 pixels solid FFF. Let's move on to our content. Right, so what our content, and we want its width to be something like 50%, and then its height to be 100, maybe 90 if you put height, and want it to display flex, and then we say align items, want to center the text, align items, center. So if it's not centered, you can play around maybe with your, if you put height here, let's put 80. Okay, 80 can work, but in my case I find 90 working really well. And then our content text, it looks squished. We want to make it maybe a little, line height will do 1.7. It might be too much, but let's see after changing font size to 18 pixels. Yeah, maybe 1.6. And then as we see, it's not at the center, so to center it, what do? Different ways. We can give it a margin, an inline margin of auto. We want to say margin inline auto, and boom, it is at the center now. It looks pretty good, but our button here does not work. So let's make sure that our button works by going here on the toggle before, yeah, when it's dark, right? We want the toggle before to be, when it's dark, on the toggle button before, this is a class, of course. We want the toggle button before to have a transform, translate x is the movement along the x-axis. But before that, for us to get the right figures, let's test it here where there's no dark glass before. Let's test it here first. So transform x, I'm going to say 100%. Yeah, that works. Here is going to be 100%, and then here is going to be 0%, and 0, they're just the same. Then we want the transition to be smooth, 0.2s, transform 0.2s, right? So by default we want this to be white actually. So first of all, but let's add some JavaScript. So we want to select the button so that when it's toggled, we change the class of the body to dark, right? So if the class of the body is dark, all its children will have the dark background. And okay, let me demonstrate that. Script, and let's select the button, document.get, document.query selector. We want the toggle button, and we're only using one, so let's just use it immediately. Add event listener. The event listener here is click. What do we want to happen when we click? Did we change the cursor here? Yeah, it's pointer. When we click, we want to call this function here. What this function does is we want to select the body document dot body. That's how you select the body dot class list. That's how you see the list of classes. That's how you get the list of classes. Dot toggle. You want to toggle dark, right? So by now the button should start moving around, because what we are basically doing is here is this. If we make the dark class available, it means that our before will have a parent called dark, and our before will actually take this property, will actually take this declaration here instead of this one. Okay, instead of this one, which we are getting from the before that doesn't have the dark parent, right? The body. So the moment the body is dark, right, this rule here will apply to our button. Let's demonstrate that. It is not working. And why? Let's check our console. Inspect. I see there's an error there already. Let's go to our console. Console. Then we're going to do query selector document dot query selector and code type error. Add event listener is not a function. We're supposed to say add event listener. So let's correct that. Event listener. It's done. Then this works. No, this works like magic. Now the functionality. Now we are done with JavaScript. Actually, everything is going to work in CSS. We are going to use things called CSS variables, right, or custom properties. So what we want to do is that inside the body we want to have custom property called, if you want to add a custom property, you say dash, then let's call this bg color is 333, and then text color is FFF. Okay, we're not done yet. Let's close this console, and then here on background let's say bg, we say var and say bg color, and on color say var text color. Okay, now when the body is dark, right, when the body is dark, we actually want to change these things. When the body is dark, we want to change the bg color. No, this is actually, we want by default the body has to be light and then it becomes dark later, so we have to do this FFF333. Yeah, that's how it should actually start. if the body is dark, want the background color to be 333. The body is dark, want the text color to be again FFF. Right, don't mind about what's happening when I'm editing, but as I fix stuff, things will start to look good. You know, you see it's already working on the body. It's already working. Now we are left with this part here. It's not working yet. Let's see what we can do. So background, so they're just simple edits. We are left with background. Let's put var bg color. See, some things are going to sort of break, but hey, some things are actually working. Let's keep on editing, and then we have this one. Well, let's call it background color, I think. No, it's supposed to be text color. Text color, yeah, working already. Let's move on. Down, down, down. Nav link color is supposed to be text color. Let's see, it is almost done. Let's move on. The toggle, that text which says change mode, I think, in the label, of course. Well, text color now it's changing with us, you see. Now let's move on. The border, text color, I actually want the border to be the background color. And then I want the background of the button to be actually the text color. Text color, yeah. And then we want this background to be background color, BG color. See, looks good. Think we have a problem with the size of our circle. Maybe let's make it something like, no, I think it's because of the border. The border should be background color. Did I do that? Yes, but it should actually be text color. Text color. Now it looks awesome, looks nice. Are we done? Feels like we're done. Now let's test this out. Yeah, it's working. And yeah, we did it. We did it. So, yeah, it's actually working. Done, done, done. Make it full screen. It is working. So thanks guys for watching, and I will see you in the next one.